Hi, and good morning, and welcome back. We're still trying to make it through the Psalm the Great Shofar. Let us continue along here. This is Psalm the Great Shofar. These are essays on the eminence of redemption, adapted from the addresses of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson. And this one right here is called The Fulfillment of Our Human Potential, Guidelines for Our Society. Always dedicate the learning to my brother, Theodore Ben Homer, and to all of you in Most Easiest Fast. We know that our avodah, because it's work, it's not meant to be easy. But we can ask that God, remove the hindrances and the obstacles. And it's optical, it's an illusion, these things that we see that are in our way, and be able to overcome them in a most amazing way. Also ask that you please keep an eye out. I'll be sending out a special word for Tish B'Av, and some heartfelt words that I'd like to share with you. So please stay tuned for that speech. The publisher's foreword here. This is adapted from a parshas of an address on the Lubavitcher Rebbe on Shabbos Kisitzi, 5751. It's 5786 now, so that would have been 35 years ago. It says here in the publisher's foreword, even before the currently closing Jewish year began, the Rebbe Shalita stated that this will be a year in which God's promise to his people would be fulfilled, that I will show you wonders. And indeed, this year has been filled with a series of wondrous events, which, when recounted, staggered the imagination. The Gulf War, the mass immigration of Jews to Eretz Yisrael, and the complete collapse of communism, to cite a few. It was events near home, however, that perhaps explain why, in the course of his talks this past Shabbos, Parshas Kisitze, on August 24th, the Rebbe chose to speak of concepts relevant to mankind as a whole. His statements touched on the ultimate purpose for any community, okay, and on the universal values around which any society should be structured. We have taken these points, which were originally scattered throughout the course of talks, focusing on other subjects, and arranged them as an independent essay. It is our hope that the ideals they champion will help motivate men of all faiths to join hands together to usher the world into its ultimate state of fulfillment, to the era in which nation will not lift sword against nation, nor will they learn war anymore. This is alluding to the book of Isaiah. We call it Yeshayahu in the second chapter, fourth verse. And there's also an essay that will be coming to No Oath, Blenader, to swords and to plowshares, and it's disarmament, as in Isaiah. And there's also some reference in this introduction to Micah 7:15. And we thank you, Sichos, in English, for the wonderful work, and always give honor to and do the learning in honor of Rabbi Yonah Atzvin and his memory. May your neshama continue to have an aliyah, and may blessing run fully through your family, and may the dream and those who are in charge be able to bring forth the work of the Rebbe and you and all of us in a total oneness and octus. So with the coming of the ultimate redemption, may this take place speedily in our days. It says here, in the image of God, our sages teach, precious is man, for he has been created in the image of God. The reference for this is according to, it's in Mishnah. We've been learning something called the Ethics of the Fathers. We call it the Perkei Avos, and there's 6 chapters to this. I want to go through it with you. This particular place comes from the 3rd chapter of the Perkei Avos. Feel free to look it up online. You can get it. The resources are available and easy for you. 14th chapter. And this concept of being created in the image of God comes from Bereshit. That's the book of Genesis, the 9th chapter, 6th verse. And his guide to the perplexed, Rambam, okay, his name is Maimonides. It's in the very first volume, in the very first chapter. He explains that the image of God refers to our capacity to conceive of intellectual ideas and to be conscious of him who spoke and brought the world into being. Okay, the ability to use our minds creatively and to direct our thoughts to God is the pinnacle of our human potential. Realizing this potential is dependent on peace of mind. And peace of mind comes when a person feels spiritual purpose and fulfillment while living in an environment which affords him peace, security, and the opportunity to satisfy his material needs. Goes on talking about structuring our society according to God's plan. Creating a setting which leads to the realization of these goals should be the purpose of every society. This can be accomplished by adopting a structure based on the 7 universal laws commanded to Noah. We call him Noach and his descendants. Okay. This is source. These 7 laws can comprise the prohibition against the worship of false divinities, blasphemy, murder, incest, adultery, theft, and eating flesh from a living animal, and the obligation to enact laws and establish courts of justice, according to Rambam Hilkos Malachim chapters 9 and 10. Now, i.e., to Noah and his descendants, i.e., all humanity. For this, the blueprint which the Almighty gave to Moses to allow all men to live in harmony. And this is in Rambam 8:10. Implicit in the above blueprint is something called tzedakah, which is charity. Rabbeinu Nisim in the gloss, the Gemara Tractate Sanhedrin 56b, who cites Echa, which is the book of Lamentations in the 4th chapter, 6th verse, and explains that charity is an obligation incumbent on all mankind. That you give a coin or a charity, or that we don't know where the wheel of fortune is. You may be down now, but you could be up. And there's a concept of it being an interest-free loan, or you loan to a person. You never know when it may need to come back to you. But also in the fact that we just do this because God says, I think we have a general sense that we give because it's like good for us and it's a good deed for the day or something, which is a concept and it's okay. But the highest form is to do something without receiving a reward. But those who have been granted success must realize that their prosperity is a gift from God, which carries with it the responsibilities to help others who are not as fortunate. And there's an essay called Charity and Tzedakah, a contrast, not a definition, that was published by Sichos in English that year. Incorporating these principles into our society is a self-reinforcing process for the experience of the good these values promote naturally encourages further progress along these lines. Similarly, in a spiritual sense, the Torah has promised that if we observe its commandments, the mitzvahs, joyfully, God will remove all the obstacles which hinder us from such observance, such as illness, war, and hunger. Similarly, he will grant us all manner of good things to reinforce our observance. Educating our youth, the key to making these ideals reality. It says here, actualizing the ideals. These ideals depends on something called chinuch, education. Education is, of course, not merely the transfer of knowledge, but more importantly, the communication of values and character traits which parents and grandparents have learned through their studies and life experience. And this process of communication should flow naturally. Ideally, a child listens to his parents immediately, not because of intimidation, but as a byproduct of their ongoing relationship. Admittedly, bringing up a child is not an easy process, as we've been speaking about most recently, and a parent will occasionally observe attitudes of which he does not approve. After all, young people, like adults, are challenged by drives and are subject to the pressures of their peer environment. But whatever the current inconsistencies in conduct, a parent should never despair over his child's future if he has invested himself in his child's upbringing, he may rest assured that any frustration will be only temporary. As time passes, the warm and sensible concern which he has devoted to his children will inevitably bear fruit. It says here, the ultimate good. In the ultimate sense, it is the era of redemption that the above goals will be realized. For Mashiach will then, according to Hilkos Malachim 11:4, perfect the entire world, motivating all the nations to serve God together, as it is written in Zephaniah, 3rd chapter, 9th verse. I will make the peoples pure of speech, so that they will all call upon the name of God and serve him with one purpose. And the singleness of purpose shared by all people will be manifest in the era of abundant good. Rambam Hilkos Malachim 12:5. There will neither be famine nor war, neither envy nor competition, for good things will flow in abundance, and all the delights will be as freely available as the dust. The occupation of the entire world will be solely to know God, as it is written in the book of Isaiah, Yeshayahu, in the 11th chapter and in the 9th verse, for the world will be filled with the knowledge of God as the waters cover the ocean bed, precipitating the era of redemption as we bring it home. And thank you for your time. We thank you for subscribing. Our main program is the Malava Malka Farbringen. So if you do decide to subscribe, please consider turning off the notifications so that you don't get a 3 a.m. notification if you're on the East Coast, or depending upon your time zone. We usually start at midnight on Saturday night. So for some of you, that might not be a good time, but we'd like you to subscribe, and you can check it out in the morning. It says here, finally, in closing, that we do not, however, have to wait until the future. A foretaste of this is possible in our days, and even more so at present, for we are standing at the threshold of the era of the redemption. This is a unique year. The Hebrew letters, whose numerical value is associated with the year, serve as an acronym for the Hebrew phrase, meaning at this particular year, this will surely be a year when I will show you wonders. It's a reference to the biblical prophecy, as we've been talking about in Micah 7 chapter 15 verse, as in the days of your exodus from Egypt, I will show you wonders. And this wonder that we've been going back and talking about how miraculous and this wonder was, and how miraculous it is when God saves his people, because he just picks us up. And like, it's his will that he does it like this. It's not of a merit of our own or that we're particularly worthy, but God has this ability through his love and the fact that he only desires good for us and not to hurt us. And he takes us and he just brings us close to him and nigh. And then we put in the work of a reflection and draw ourselves back into him and put in the work. And then there's this culmination of the revealed and the concealed, and they come together and bring forth this whole new godly light that we're talking about. And we have seen wonders, including the miraculous victory in the Persian Gulf and event associated by the classic text. The Yalkut Shimoni, Volume 2, Section 499, interpreting Isaiah 60th chapter, verse 1, with the year in which the Messianic King will be revealed. Similarly, we have seen an ingathering of the exiles of Israel to our Holy Land, a foreglimpse of the ultimate return to the land in the Messianic era. And there have been many other miracles which we have all witnessed in both the personal and global sphere. These are therefore appropriate times to incorporate in our lives the heightened spiritual awareness which we will possess in the era of the redemption. In this way, we can add fulfillment to our present experience and precipitate the coming of that ultimate era. May this take place in the immediate future. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable for you, God, my strength and my Redeemer. Asking you once again, I'm not sure when and how I'm going to get to record it and how we're going to make it through the rest of this book. For those of you who are looking for Bashert or Shidduch people, even outside of Judaism. Those of you who are looking for your partner, there's that time that's coming when there's a special blessing, when the maidens are dancing in the field. May every good thing come to you, and just may you have wisdom and peace and just blessing and open revealed godliness.